West Tyrone needs the strongest possible voice. Vote Daniel McCrossan, number 1, this Thursday.
Colum, Eastwood, welcome to New Ireland TV.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
And you're on the campaign trail down in Omagh here, just on the day before the election. So you're very brave wearing a Derry top today.
Well, it's no coincidence at all that Derry hammered Tyrone on Sunday, but so I thought I'd have to wear my colours on my sleeve. But look, it's great to be here. We're out in Omagh. We're in Strabane earlier talking to people. The day before the election, we're telling people how important it is to come out tomorrow and register that you want change in our politics, and I think we really need to get more SDLP MLAs elected, because we need a government next week and we need parties who are prepared to roll their sleeves up to get money into their pockets. I don't think people are concerned about the protocol or what position somebody has in Stormont. They want money in their pockets and they want it now.
Okay. Daniel is the local candidate for the area, and he's been very vocal on the A5 road. You have had the infrastructure minister for the last couple of years. You have been, in the coalitions for a number of years, and yet the A5 hasn't been advanced. What's going to change this time that's going to help that advance?
Well, Nicola Mallon's been working very hard to get that decision out the door. Of course, we know that there have been a number of legal cases that have been just difficult to deal with. We have to go through that process, as infuriating as it is. I wish people would stop protesting and taking legal cases against the A5. We know how important it is for the economic development of this area and right across the island. Also to stop accidents happening on that road. It's a very dangerous stretch of road. I travel it very often myself. It needs to be delivered. We've had commitments from the Irish government to pay for it for many years. Nicola Mallon's determined to get it done, but the best champion for delivering the A5 for this community is Daniel McCrossan.
May I suggest, for example, the M25 in England, they actually passed the Bill of Parliament. Would that be a tactic that you might be able to consider when you're in the next legislative session?
Well, hopefully we won't have to get to that position. I think we obviously have to accept that people have a right to take judicial reviews and everything else, and we'll go through that process. But I think we're quite close now to getting this over the line. It just needs to happen soon. We're absolutely determined and committed to making it happen, and we'll do anything in our power to make sure that it gets done.
Fantastic. And just another big issue for the local people is the gold mine in Omagh, the old Dalradian Gold and a few other companies. What is your position on those? Are you positive towards them, or would you like to see the environmental aspect brought into it more?
Well, we've been very clear. None of this should be happening at all without the local community, and that's why Nicola Mallon has put this into the public inquiry, to give everybody their say, because we can't just have these kinds of developments happening over the heads of local people. Local people have to be involved every step of the way, and that's why finally someone has stepped up and taken that decision to get it into a public inquiry. Then everybody will be able to say their piece, and that's the best way of dealing with an issue like this.
Fantastic. We're going to ask about the rail review that Nicola Mallon's been involved in. So I actually contributed to that, and I thought that Omagh would be a great base to have a northwest base for the rail review. Can you see where that's going to go next, given that with the new legislative selection it might not even be Nicola who is the infrastructure minister? Well,
we thought it was very important to get this started. I mean, the big gap in our infrastructural development in the northwest of Ireland is the lack of rail connectivity. Nicola, along with Eamon Ryan, who's the minister in the south, have done a great work to get this started. I worked with Micheál Martin to make sure that there was money. There's £1 billion now in a pot to spend on cross-border projects. This is something that's very important. What we want to see is high-speed rail from Derry to Dublin, from Derry to Belfast to Dublin, Limerick, Cork, and then have offshoots into places like Omagh and Strabane and other places. So to put that big loop of infrastructure around the island is the first thing we have to do, and then we have to connect people in to the high-speed network. That's the plan. That's what we want to see happening. Nicola has started the ball rolling, and we won't stop until it's delivered.
Hi there. So Daniel McCrossan, welcome to New Ireland TV. So you're standing as a candidate for West Tyrone.
Yeah, this is the sixth election, this constituency in 6 years.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah. Well, do you want to take maybe 2 or 3 minutes just to sort of put out your broad candidacy for the electorate?
Well, I think it's very clear from the many people we've engaged with across this constituency, people are united in their annoyance at Stormont failing them. People are struggling. The cost of living crisis affected absolutely every single household, and working families in particular are feeling the pinch at this present time. We've also huge frustration from public sector workers, teachers, doctors, nurses, people within our civil service who feel that they haven't been paid well for the last 10 years probably, and there's a huge amount of frustration in relation to that, because we have the cost of living gone up, inflation's at 7%, and wages have all stayed still or stagnant. People are fed up with that. They want more from Stormont, they want more from government, and they want to see more from politicians. And the SDLP in this campaign will be very clear that we are the one party that will prioritise those issues, will prioritise the cost of living, put money back into people's pockets. That's what this election's about. It's about bread and butter issues. All of the other wider concerns we hear on a daily basis. We hear about the health waiting list, 350,000 people on a health waiting list out of a population of 1.8 million. We also hear day and daily about the A5. 42 people have died on that road, hundreds more have been injured. We need that road to be delivered, and that is a key ask of the people of this constituency. Good, high quality infrastructure that will save lives, improve lives, and deliver economic opportunities for people here so they don't have to go elsewhere.
Fantastic, yeah. I've mentioned a few of the issues with Colum there, but just if I pick up the cost of living, so for example, People for Profit and the Socialist Party have advocated a rise in the minimum wage to £15 an hour. Is that something you would support?
The SDLP are keen to see an increase in the minimum wage, absolutely, to a living wage, a wage that will actually ensure that people can afford to live. At present, people cannot afford to live. I'm knocking on doors and people are opening doors in their coats. People can't put food on their tables, and they're worried even about putting school uniforms on their backs of their children. Working families in particular are saying to me that at the end of a working week or a working month, when they have their salary or their wage, that they have nothing left. That is a ridiculous situation to be in. It's a huge failure of Stormont and politicians and parties in relation to putting people first. The SDLP have a plan to resolve all of those issues, and by electing more SDLP MLAs back to Stormont, those are the key priorities. Working families, vulnerable people in our society, and those who need that support is where the SDLP's priorities is.
Fantastic. And your electoral literature has been very prominent on the A5. So what processes are you going to enact now that haven't been enacted in the last 20 years? What's the new tactic or what's the new plan?
The A5 has went through its fair share of hurdles. There is no doubt it has been fraught with difficulty and delay, and people are very, very frustrated and want to see the A5 delivered now. 42 people have died. I've attended the funerals of so many families. It's absolutely heartbreaking. The history continues to repeat itself. Each and every day we travel on that road, we're putting ourselves and others at risk, because the reality is that road is not safe. That is why this road is a key priority for the Executive, but absolutely a key priority for the SDLP and for Minister Nicola Mallon. There is no hurdle left in blocking this road, except for a very small group called the Anti-A5 Alliance, who are determined to do everything possible to delay and obstruct the delivery of that road. Well, they're not going to succeed, because I have said very clearly, as a public representative for this area, as someone who represents every single citizen, that I will now name those individuals if indeed they dare continue to obstruct the A5. This is about saving lives, improving lives, and ensuring those economic opportunities here. And nothing is more important than protecting human life.
So you've mentioned there you'd be prepared to name the people in the Alliance, A5 Alliance. Would that be something you would do on the chamber floor, or is
that's something I would do within Stormont? If someone was building a house next to me and I objected to it, they would know I objected. My name has to go to that objection. So why are we allowing a lack of transparency around the objectors to the Alternative A5 Alliance? We don't actually know why they're objecting to it. They've offered no alternative. We don't know who's funding them. We don't know what their agenda is. We don't know what they're actually trying to achieve. So in the absence of answers to all those very important questions, in the interest of transparency, it is vital as a public representative that I reveal to the public people who are in huge support of this road, who exactly is behind obstructing it. The A5 is absolutely critical for this area, and it's something that I will ensure is delivered.
Fantastic, yeah. And the other big issue that's local to the area is the gold mines. The Dalradian gold and the other gold mines in the area. What is your position on that, and what do you think should be the next step with the ongoing disputes in that area?
Well, we're in full support of the public inquiry. We have long called for the public inquiry, and we look forward to it actually happening. It's with that public inquiry all the various concerns and issues we thrashed out. The party has a very clear policy. It was voted at a conference a number of years ago in relation to mining. The party position is that we're against gold mining. I want to see the public inquiry to thrash out the issues in relation to the particular particular local issue here in Greencastle, and hopefully we'll get answers to the very many concerns that are there. We've also had concerns shared with us about the use of cyanide. We have strongly voiced our concerns in relation to that. We've been told since that is not going to happen now, so the public inquiry is key. We don't want to see any further damage done to the environment, to people's health, or to the relationships in this community. The SDLP policy has been clear for a number of years, and certainly I support the party policy.